Carmelo is now 38 years old, but he is still out there on the court doing his thing. Since being picked third overall in the 2003 draft, he has had countless incredible NBA moments, almost too many to cover, but we will do our best to do justice to the 10-time All-Star. Anthony was marked for greatness in high school. In 2001, he was named the Baltimore Sun's Metro Player of the Year. The following year, he received McDonald's All-American honors. As a freshman for Syracuse, Melo won the NCAA tournament's Most Outstanding Player. While Carmelo has a reputation as a selfish player, his teams have enjoyed a good deal of success. For example, he led the Nuggets to the playoffs for 7 straight years. Carmelo didn't have a particularly lengthy college career, but his one and only NCAA season was the definition of short and sweet. Many of the stars from the previous year had left the Syracuse Orangemen, and a lot of the weight fell on the shoulders of freshman Carmelo Anthony. Though Syracuse lost their first game, Melo made a statement of intentions with 27 points. It was no outlier. Carmelo averaged 22.2 points for the season with 10.0 rebounds per game. As a freshman, both totals were in the top 20 for the entire NCAA, and Melo was there for the Orangemen in the clutch. It was Kirk Hinrich who scored the buzzer beater, but Anthony was named Most Outstanding Player with his 21 points. That freshman season was so incredible that Melo decided to stand for the draft early. His initial plan was to try for the pros after 2 years, but he had already accomplished everything possible in 1 year. So remember that before you call Anthony a loser. Syracuse was so appreciative of his contribution that they named a basketball facility after the player in 2007. An emotional Melo, "I just can't thank the Syracuse community enough for bringing me here. I don't think anybody realizes how much this will do for the men's and women's teams." Going toe-to-toe with Kobe, May 19, 2009. The main knock against Carmelo has always been that he couldn't lead a team to a title, and there is undoubtedly some truth to that. But there is an argument to be made that he never had the kind of help needed to win a title. The showdown between the Nuggets and the Lakers in 2009 suggests that Anthony had what it takes but was never on the right team at the right time. In the 2008 to 2009 season, Denver traded for Chauncey Billups, a proven winner at point guard. Billups knew how to bring out the best in Melo. The Nuggets looked particularly good that year. The Rocky Mountain team finished 54-28, the second best record in the Western Conference. They dispensed with the New Orleans Hornets in the first round before beating the Mavericks in the West semis. The Lakers and Kobe were favorites in the Western Conference Finals, but Anthony came with a chip on his shoulder and a point to prove. The two superstars went toe-to-toe, with Bryant scoring 40 and Anthony notching 39. It seemed that every time Bryant wowed the crowd, Melo matched him. The Lakers won the game 105-103, but the Nuggets wouldn't back down until the Lakers finally won in 6. The series was made more contentious by the decision by Denver coach George Karl to have Carmelo guard Bryant, hoping that his greater height and strength would prove effective. Anthony remembers that series as one of the highlights of his career. Melo said, "You know, Kobe, he's going at your neck, he's elbowing you. I had my braids back then too, so he's touching my head. I'm like, don't touch my head, don't touch me no more." He's smirking, he's throwing his little expletive elbows. And 2009 came, and it was like, we hugged before the game, and he was like, "It's war." I said, "It's war. Let's get it. It ain't gonna be nothing easy." The entire 2012 to 2013 season. Carmelo has had an incredible career, but 2012 to 2013 was arguably the standout. It was the season where Anthony was the league scoring champion, averaging 28.7. However, we should note that the forward had a higher average in 2006 to 2007 with Denver with 28.9 per game, but that year he was beaten out by Kobe Bryant, who had one of his best seasons. Still, 2012 to 2013 was a particular year. He did well by any metric, averaging 6.9 rebounds, 2.6 assists, and shooting for 44.9% and 37.9% from the three. Adding to the drama was a year-long tussle with Kevin Durant over the scoring crown. Why was he so good that year? A lot of it had to do with his move to the power forward position. Being in the point allowed Anthony to develop a deadly combo of moves. Defenders could either remain in the paint and watch him drain mid-range jumpers or come at him. If they did make the mistake of moving forward, Melo would blow past them and take it to the rim. So, he was too nimble for power forwards and too big for smalls to guard. The season was remarkable not only because Melo was on fire, but he also led the Knicks to the Atlantic Division title and a 54-28 record. He also led that long-suffering team to their first playoff win in 13 years, and that was major. When the player came to the Big Apple in 2010, the fans pinned massive hopes on the former Nuggets star. And they needed him. Not to put too fine a point about it, but the Knicks were a dumpster fire. And while Melo did inject some life into the franchise, team success didn't come immediately. Even in 2012 to 2013, they couldn't genuinely contend, but at least they got a touch of glamour and some playoff excitement. Unfortunately, things soon started to turn sour for Anthony in New York. After bouncing in the playoffs, teammate Tyson Chandler complained, "I watched the tape myself, and there are open looks. We have to be willing passers." It was an obvious dig at Anthony, and it was that reputation that may have stopped Melo from winning the MVP award. Despite an incredible season, the Knicks star finished behind LeBron James and Kevin Durant in the voting. Setting the Knicks' all-time scoring record January 14, 2014, Madison Square Garden has seen some of the best basketball performances in history. I mean, they don't call it the basketball mecca for nothing. Unfortunately, as far as Knicks are concerned, those performances are too often by visiting stars. But on one incredible night in January, Melo made up for all those years of disappointment with an absolute gem. The 62 points he scored are both an all-time Knicks record and the most points ever tallied at the Garden. Massive scorers are often sloppy, but Anthony showed great care and precision that night. It wasn't a case of hurling as many shots as possible. Instead, this sharpshooter was taking good shots and hitting over two-thirds of them, 23 to 35 shots made at a rate of 65.7%. One of the reasons he had so many shot opportunities is due to remarkable ball control. Melo had 0 turnovers despite his massive involvement in the offensive flow. How impressive is that? Well, chew on this. 62 is the most points anyone has ever scored without losing the ball even once. But there was a downside to this performance. Alongside the lack of turnovers, Carmelo also made 0 assists, something that has happened far too often in Anthony's career. But he did take 13 rebounds, which allows the Knicks star more shot opportunities. After a masterful performance like that, the forward was not exceptionally modest. He said, "I made history tonight with the performance, but just to be a part of that group of people, like I said, there's only a small group of people that knows what that zone feels like, and tonight, I was one of them." Setting the 2014 All-Star Game alight, February 16, 2014. Just a month after breaking the Madison Square Garden record, Melo showed the same incredible form at the All-Star Game in New Orleans. The East found themselves in an 18-point hole, but Anthony led them to a 163-155 victory over the West. Kyrie Irving won the game MVP for his performance, but many felt that Melo was robbed. He scored 30 points, which is impressive enough. But where he truly caught fire from downtown, burying 8 to 13 from 3, and one of those long-range buckets was absolutely clutch. With a minute and 4 seconds left to play, Irving dished Anthony the ball and rose for that final nail in the Western coffin as he put the East 4 ahead. Despite their efforts, the West didn't score another point. Winning 3 Olympic gold medals with the United States. Okay, so it's really 3 moments, but what unforgettable moments they are. To understand the magnitude of this achievement, you have to start at the 2004 Olympic Games in Athens. That was the year Team USA was humbled by Argentina and had to settle for bronze. Carmelo was one of 3 big-name rookies humbled there, including also LeBron and Dwayne Wade. So Melo was eager to prove himself in the 2008 Games in Beijing. His 11.5 points and 4.3 rebounds per game were instrumental in the Redeem Team's successful campaign to take gold. So the forward reported for duty once again in London. In those games, Anthony had his best ever performance for Team USA with a record 37 points on 10 of 12 shooting from the 3 against Nigeria. All of those experiences culminated in the 2016 Olympics. Anthony became the first and only American basketball player to win 3 Olympic gold medals. After winning, Melo announced his retirement. The forward said, "I committed to this in 2004. I've seen the worst and I've seen the best, and I stuck with it and we stuck with it. And I'm here today, 3 gold medals later. I'm excited for me, but also for the other guys who have never experienced anything like this." He holds the national record for points, rebounds, and appearances. It's a reminder that when people talk about how Anthony isn't a winner, The man has 3 Olympic gold medals and is one of the most outstanding performers ever to put on a Team USA jersey. Anthony has had a glorious career. While he never won an NBA title, the forward has done things other players dream about. He won an NCAA title, acquired a record 3 gold medals, and was the NBA scoring champion. What a legacy. And Melo isn't done yet.